Hello there, it's Ronnie. I want to talk about the way that people look and sort of criticise a fruit diet, like a fruit based diet, and a raw vegan diet sometimes. The way that people do this by sort of fractionating, sorry, just getting this all right, sort of fractionating the diet into all the little component nutrients that make up the diet, and they've only picked certain ones, the essential ones, the ones that we call essential, and they analyze a raw vegan diet through this perspective of here's our idea of what is the recommended daily amounts that people should have of all these different nutrients in order to stay healthy, and then we'll compare that to a raw vegan diet, and then we'll compare it. So to me, this is not the right way of looking at this situation, and I think this is the problem overall. And I've kind of explained this to people a lot, and maybe it doesn't make sense, maybe it does, who knows. But people will criticise, say, a fruit diet and say it was just fruit, and they'll put fruit into something like Chronometer and go, well, have a look at that. Protein's low, selenium's low, sodium's low, this is low, that's low, omega 6 is low, omega 3 is low, and therefore it's a deficient diet. And that's how people look at it, right? And this is a completely, I think it's probably the wrong way to analyse the diet or analyse if a diet is healthy. But it's a wrong way of thinking, I suppose, is the way that I think about it. That's a particular way that someone's forcing you to look at this, is through this lens of here's some numbers that science has kind of come up with for these different nutrients, and this is what you have to hit, and we're going to break the diet down into all these different stuff. Now, why do we even look at diet like that? Why did we start to break diet and food down into small component parts, these various nutrients that are the small component parts of the diet? We started to do that because people were getting sick and getting diseased, and they started to realise it was because components were missing from their diet, nutrients were missing from their diet, and for hundreds of years they couldn't work it out. For hundreds of years they didn't believe it when someone suggested it, the medical community, and eventually it got accepted. And what are we talking about here? We're talking about situations like scurvy with the sailors, right? So definitely vitamin deficiency, vitamin C deficiency. But it's not a vitamin C deficiency. And you're going to say to me, Ronnie, no, it is a vitamin C deficiency. No, it's not. It's a fruit deficiency. You can call it a vitamin C deficiency, and maybe if they'd had vitamin C supplements, maybe they would have been okay. But it's really a fruit deficiency, because we're designed to live on fruits, and we need to have fruit and vegetables in our diet to be any level of being healthy. And then we can go forward and we can look at other situations where these things happen, these deficiency diseases. The two other famous ones, beriberi and pellagra. Deficiencies of B vitamins, B1 and B3, I think. Riboflavin and niacin. And once again, they would have been fixed by eating more fruit. They're fruit deficiencies. They're fruit deficiencies. These aren't really specific dietary nutrient deficiencies. They're eating the wrong diet. Okay? And other dietary deficiencies that people commonly suffer from. Iron deficiency, iron anemia. Is that all the fruitarians getting that? No, that's common across meat eaters and all these unhealthy people. Well, once again, it's a fruit deficiency. Fruit eaters don't get low iron. What about vitamin A deficiency? in Africa? Oh, it's a fruit deficiency. Because they're not getting beta carotene, which is in fruits and vegetables. Iodine is maybe one of the few things you could say, okay, that's maybe a very specific geographic soil issue that basically never happens anymore. No need to worry about that. And vitamin D, if you just don't want to get any sunlight at all, it's not a good idea. But if you just want to hide from the sun, and then you got vitamin B12, which is definitely, we find vegans and raw vegans are lower in vitamin B12. Doesn't really say that they're getting any specific deficiency symptoms as a result of it necessarily, but B12 is kind of across the population as well. So these are some of the major common ones, but we've not got these like massive populations of deficient selenium people that had the terrible low selenium disease, or the low sodium disease, or the low magnesium. Well, magnesium's fine in a fruit diet, but the low omega-6 disease, the low omega-3 disease, these things are ideas, concepts, theories, but we're not really seeing major issues as a result of this. These are scare stories mythical scare stories created by supplement companies. That's all it is. And a lot of the content that's been put out there for over 100 years in the health category, in the natural health category, is to sell supplements, whether it's newsletters, magazines, websites, even TV shows, maybe adverts, different things. And there's many companies that have been built on the back of this nonsense that to be healthy, people should be having supplements, or to ensure your health, you take supplements. And it's not true. The research on supplements is very clear. Regardless of whatever people tell you about this, they can't produce any information that supplements are making any benefit to people. And in fact, there's research saying that they're causing problems with people. They're making cancer more likely in some cases. So people are living in this fantasy world that's been written and created by copywriters, very sophisticated copywriters, creating fantasy stories over the last hundreds of years in the natural health category, convincing people, persuading people to have these worthless products that they can sell at a very high margin. It's just a business. It's nothing to do with health. Now, maybe these companies, like, on some positive level, maybe they encourage, maybe that's the first step people take, and then they make better steps after that, maybe. But the whole deficiency thing is a whole fear scare story for the billions, trillions of dollars that go into the supplement industry. They have the money to do the research to prove that their products make a benefit, but they can't prove it. They don't see that, so they can't prove it. So people telling you just to blanket take a supplement are wrong, and that's it. And then when people say, "Oh, the fruit diet's deficient," because all they're doing is looking at chronometer. This is a completely unscientific nonsense way of looking at things, and it's all based on the fear stories around deficiency diseases, which were what? Diseases of no fruit, almost all the time. Almost all deficiency diseases are situations where people didn't have access to fresh fruits and vegetables, or didn't have enough calories of food, like kwashiorkor and stuff like that. They just didn't have enough calories. Well, that's got nothing to do with low protein. That's to do with them not having enough calories of food. So we need to stop allowing people to give us a perspective of this is how you have to analyze diet. Is put it now. I don't mind. I can prove it to you that you can do a raw vegan diet that perfectly matches all these different nutrients, right? I can show you that, and I use that in the course I do and stuff, so I can prove that you can do that. But I don't think you need to worry about it. I don't think you need to try and like get a Brazil nut every day and get a certain combination of berries and figs and tons of different vegetables every day to match all these. I don't think you need to do that. This diet is not a deficiency diet. It's an abundance diet. And but just in my history of doing this, I just don't. The only people I see claiming deficiency are people that are totally misdiagnosed, going to people that aren't qualified, diagnosing themselves, don't really have any issues, but they're pretending they've got issues because they're kind of neurotic. Some people have mental illness issues and paranoia issues, and think they're full of toxins and parasites and God knows what else, and use it as an excuse to take 2 years out of their life living on benefits, sitting somewhere doing nothing, trying to detox. There's a lot of people doing strange things. So I don't know. We just need to flip the perspective here. Flip the perspective. Can you prove to me that a fruit diet is deficient? Can you show me all the people that have developed deficiencies? Can you show me any studies? Because there are studies on raw vegans. There's not a lot of them. Anyway, thanks for watching the channel. Feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.